Welcome to my video where I'm going to solve the problem. In 2024, the United States government owed approximately $34.6 trillion to its creditors. The population of the U.S. was about 335 million people in 2024. How much did the government owe per person in 2024? Round your answer to the nearest dollar. So that's our problem. We're going to deal with the United States debt and how much per person, and talk a little bit about that and use scientific notation. So what do we really know? First of all, we know the debt, total amount of money owed by the country, is $34.6 trillion. And trillion can be written as 34, and then there'd be 600 billion. There's your millions, hundreds, thousands, and then your thousands. So there's our number. Now, the total population, we said, was 335 million, a little more manageable number, 335, and then we've got 6 zeros there. So there's what we do know, some big numbers. Now, when we deal with numbers with a lot of zeros, what we like to use is scientific notation to make things a little simpler. So let's convert, first of all, this debt number, 34 trillion, and all these zeros here. That can be written as 3.46 times 10 to the 13th. Now, how did we do that? Okay, if we want to count the places, if there's going to be our new decimal point, we need to count the number of zeros. There's 3, 6, 9, 12, and that makes 13th. So that's how we got the 13. 3.46 times 10 to the 13th, and that's in dollars. Now the 335 million, we use a similar method, so that's going to be, that's not a dollar sign. 3.35 times 10 to the 8th. And let's do the same thing on that. So we've got 3, 6, and then there's our decimal place, so we've got 8 times 10 to the 8th. So there's our number. That is, now we want to calculate. So the problem is with the per person, so that's going to be, we take the amount of debt, 3.46 times 10 to the 13th dollars, divided by 3.35 times 10 to the 8th. Now, for the properties of algebra, we can just break this up into two divisions, two quotients, 3.46 divided by 3.35 times the ratio of 10 to the 13th divided by 10 to the 8th. Now, when we're going to use one of the properties of algebra just to subtract these two exponents. We know that a to the m divided by a to the n is just the difference of a raised to the m minus n. In this case, 10 is our a, m is going to be 13, and n is 8. So let's continue on with that. So taking this ratio over here, the 3.46 divided by 3.35 is just 1.03. Now we multiply by the 10 to the 13 minus 8. And what we're going to get is 1.03 times 10 to the 5th. And that's going to be dollars per person. Writing that in a more longhand notation. Converting it back to standard form, we're going to have, let's verify that we did that properly. We got 5 places here. There's 3, 5, and there's our decimal place. So we converted that back properly. And so that is the answer to our question. Each person, man, woman, and child, baby, owes a little over $100,000 in debt. Now let's talk a little bit about this debt and maybe get a little better understanding of what all this is about. So what is the U.S. national debt? The national debt is the total amount of money the federal government owes, mostly from borrowing to cover spending. So we're spending more money that exceeds or greater than the tax revenue, the money brought in. It's like having a credit card and you just keep charging and you don't pay your bill each month, or not all of it. Keeps adding up. So who does the government owe the money to? Domestic investors and institutions. These would be like pension funds, banks, and then private individuals. You can buy U.S. government bonds, and they will pay you an interest rate or a dividend. Also, foreign governments buy a lot of our bonds, the United States bonds, China and Japan. And then the federal government also buys its own government debt to go into like the Social Security fund. So it's funded by, it's kind of a circular reasoning there. And just to give you an idea of what the debt has done over the last 20 some years, I think you can just see this graph goes in one direction, and that's about where we're at right now. So just want to give you a quick update on what the debt per person was in 2024, give you a little bit about what debt is and what it means, and hope you got something out of this video. If you did, like, subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.